Let's go to LSU. All right.
You don't have to listen to the takes.
The LSU Tigers. Ceiling, 12-0. Floor, 7-5. Prediction, 10-2. Right? I think I really went heavy with the floor here. I don't think they go 7-5. I think that's like just stuff, Fitz hitting the shan. Fitz hitting the shan in Baton Rouge, if you know what I mean. But wins, Grambling State, Miss State, Ole Miss, Missouri, Auburn, Army, Florida, Georgia State, A&M, and Bama. Losses, Arkansas, Florida State.
Right.
Arkansas and Florida State. Toss-up games, FSU, Arkansas, Bama, and A&M. So I think those 4 games, that FSU game, right? That FSU game, we may get into biggest games in 2023. This is probably number 1, right? Because
I'm looking so forward to that game.
Because whoever loses that game cannot lose a game if they want to make the college football playoff, in my opinion, right? It all depends on that week 1 game, and it's on a Sunday, which is extra weird. So it's going to be a huge game on ABC, September 3rd. Going to be fun. But Ben, sorry, I keep trying to, keep going on my.
I lost them in the notes.
Well, there
stuff. But I would say ceiling 10-2. Floor for them is 7-5, and I would have them going 10-2.
Your ceiling's 10-2.
Sorry, 9-3.
Your ceiling is 9-3, but your prediction is 10-2.
No, ceiling's 10-2. Prediction is 9-2.
Okay, all right, okay. I think there is a world where LSU wins every game, right? Look, they beat Bama last year, and I was really debating putting them down as another loss. I think they find a way to beat Alabama this year. The Brian Kelly situation is interesting because they were so good last year in his first year that a lot of people are going to be expecting a college football playoff or national championship or 10-11 wins this year. The expectations for Brian Kelly do not need to be 9, 10, 11 wins, right? Would it be out of this world to win 10 games this year? Absolutely not. But you need to continue to build a better roster. You don't need to expect him to go out and have a world-shattering season. Should it be expected to make a college football playoff this year for LSU? Absolutely not. Again, could it happen? Sure, right? But here's my explanation for a 10-2 season, Ben. Tough loss to FSU in week 1 and another tough loss to Arkansas, a dark horse who a lot of people in the moment are going to be like, oh, my God, you just lost to Arkansas. You're screwed, and Arkansas is going to turn out to be good, right? That's how I have the script, all right? I have the script. LSU is a solid team, but it's going to be tough because they're not really going to be good enough to dominate or pull out really tough, close games. That's why I have FSU, Bama, and A&M as a toss-up, just because they're not dominant enough or talented enough for us right now to say that's an automatic win. You know what I mean? So Jane Daniels, right? Jane Daniels looks to be a guy that, could be a, really, really, really good quarterback, right? A Heisman contending quarterback as a dark horse for a lot of people. 2,900 yards, 17 touchdowns passing. LSU's leading rusher last year, right? In that pretty good running back room, he was the leading rusher. So I like him, right? You get Logan Diggs from Notre Dame. Noah Cain, Josh Williams should relieve him in that run game. But Ben, honestly, Tigers not out of proportion for the college football playoff, but I have them going 10-2. I think right now it's too tough to tell if this team's really good enough to go out and win a Natty.
Right. And I kind of walked on it. They're going 10-2. Yeah. I think they will go 10-2.
Sure.
The FSU and Bama game, I think, are the games in my eyes. When I on my other predictions, I didn't have LSU losing a game, so I can't say 9-3. I said they were going to beat Bama. I meant an SEC West game.
Okay.
What I meant by that.
There you go.
So they beat Bama, in my opinion. So I think this team 10-2, I could definitely see happening. They bring back a lot and they bring in a lot. You bring back Malik Neighbors, that him and Jaden Daniels will need to connect.
Yeah.
Boutte, whatever. He didn't really do much last year. He was a great player, but didn't really do much. They great. Well, why am I forgetting their head coach's name?
Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly did
it's
everything.
Late. It's late.
Did everything he needed to do. Fifth best recruiting class, second best transfer ranking. They brought in people they needed to bring in. And I think they filled the holes they needed to fill. And they're a team that they can win any game. It's just a matter of whether they are able to pull those games out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at their depth chart here, and Jalen Brown, who was a true freshman this year, we actually talked about him this time last year, first episode.
Interesting.
Talked about him this time last year, committing to LSU as a 5-star. So look out for him. They got a lot of good guys at receiver, though. Kyron Lacey stepped up. The senior had a really good spring game. So him and Jane Daniels could have a good connection in order for Jane Daniels to maybe surpass that 2,900-yard mark and pass for more touchdowns this season. I'm not saying 2,900 yards is bad, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Defense too. The defense matters too.
Yeah, the defense.
The
defense does matter. Harold Perkins, freaking dog.
I don't know why they weren't on my notes. I literally when you sent me the thing, I was like, oh, Harold Perkins is a key player. I was so ready to put that down.
Yeah.
He will matter for this team, and I'm excited to watch Harold Perkins play.
Yeah, the secondary may be a little bit of a question mark. You get 3 transfers at DB. That's Deuce Chestnut, Zy Alexander, and J.K. Johnson. 3 transfers who are going to have to mesh with this defense. LSU puts out pretty good DBs. I think that's pretty well known, right? Most recently, like Derek Stingley and all those guys. So it's going to be
Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah, Tyrann Mathieu, obviously. So this defense needs to be really good, right? Should be a fun unit to watch if they can all kind of mesh together, because this team's going to either win them 8 games or 10 or 11 games, right? Because offensively, I think you've got enough talent. You return all 5 starters on the offensive line. Brian Kelly in year 2 is taking a team that was really good and trying to get them to great, right? One of the hardest jumps in sports is really good to great, and that's what they're trying to do. So let's get the expectations for this team before we close up shop. Expectations, it is okay for LSU to only win 8 to 10 games here in 2022 or 2023, excuse me. It's not the end of the world. That is a great second year for a head coach, Ben. Great second year to go out there and win 8 to 10 games. A weird schedule, an odd schedule makes it possible for LSU to run the table. Look at that 12-0 ceiling. It is possible, LSU fans. I'm not saying it's not. But overall, this team will rely on Jaden Daniels in that offense. Could be something special. No doubt this defense comes along, but I have them going 10-2, Ben. Any last takes on the Bayou Bengals?
But for me, I kind of different from what you said is I think they not for Brian Kelly, but for this team, this is the year to do it.
Okay, yeah.
Jaden Daniels at QB probably will be the best QB in the next 4 years that you have.
Garrett Nussmeier is a freaking dog. Garrett Nussmeier is probably the best backup quarterback in the SEC. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, if he went to Oklahoma right now, he'd start.
No.
I'd just say
he's a
dog. He's a dog. He's a dog.
Okay. But I think Daniels, it's the year to do it with Daniels, and Jaden Daniels will be the quarterback that I think could do it out of him and Nussmeier. So I'm sorry for that, Drew, but yeah. So I've got that, and so I just think they really want to win this year, and they have a team where you have everyone everywhere, and you have the pieces you need. It's just figure it out, win the games you have to win. This FSU game could be the biggest game of the year for them, and it is week 1. So they need to win the games they can, and then I could see them being contenders.